Hello and welcome back to DocTrack Training. With this lesson, we begin our look at creating visual work instructions with DocTrack Flex. With this feature, you can tie detailed instructions for scope of work right to an item. When a job is created for that item, these instructions go with it. At that time, you can change them as needed. You can then make these work instructions available to ShopTrack Flex Space users working on those operations. Work instructions can have embedded pictures or separate attachments, such as worksheets or reference documents. You can set them up as an optional reference or as a required step. You can also require a user to perform these steps in sequence. If the operator doesn't perform the required steps in the order expected, ShopTrack will not let them report a quantity complete until they do. In addition, DocTrack Flex records each time a ShopTrack user opens a work instruction element. You can use this data for reports that could document compliance with your quality control program. DocTrack Flex work instructions have a status of work in progress as you're creating them. When you're ready to submit them for approval, you just change the status to pending. At that time, authorized Cloud Suite Industrial users can change the status to approved. And because work instructions are revision tracked, any previously approved versions of that instruction set are changed to the status of history. That way, all versions can be maintained for traceability or used when needed to manufacture older revisions of an item. Another key feature of DocTrack Flex work instructions is that you can create them offline and upload them with a simple Excel template. You can have work instructions for many different current operations on the same spreadsheet, so you don't have to upload them one operation at a time. Before you begin setting these up, there are a few things to keep in mind. First of all, because work instructions can only be accessed by ShopTrack users, you won't be able to use this feature in DocTrack Flex unless you have ShopTrack version 2020 or higher. If you don't, you won't see this control that displays the interface. Second, in order to see this feature, a Cloud Suite Industrial user must be assigned one of these three permission groups: Manager DocTrack Work Instructions, DocTrack Work Instructions Author, and DocTrack Work Instructions User. If a Cloud Suite Industrial user is assigned the Manager DocTrack Work Instructions group, they can add, view, update, and delete work instructions. They can also import work instructions and update the status to pending or approved. If a user has the DocTrack Work Instructions Author group assigned to them, they'll have the same permissions, with one exception. They will only be allowed to change the status from work in progress to pending. They won't be authorized to approve them. If a user is assigned the DocTrack Work Instructions User group, they will only be allowed to view work instructions in DocTrack Flex. Finally, if you plan on importing work instructions with a spreadsheet, you'll need Microsoft Excel 2007 or higher. That's a quick overview of DocTrack Flex work instructions. And that's all for now. On our next lesson, we'll start creating work instructions from scratch. See you then.